full employment, removal of the basic, removal of the unemployment in the society or the community. So this is the basic difference. Government is always going to concern about the basic aspects of the welfareism, avoidance of inflation, avoiding of unemployment, getting of full employment, like that. These things are going to be taken place. And the next one is related to the elasticity. Elasticity means the source of income. If you are going to compare the public finance as well as the private finance, there was a great elasticity or great chance to the governments to gain more sources for income. Whereas if you compare that one for the normal people or as an individual people, the chances are very less. Individually, you think the chance of getting income sources are very less for us when you compare to the government. This is nothing but be considered as the greater elasticity in public finance when compared to the private to the government. And the next one is that budget period. You know that governments are going to prepare a budget for a particular period, but there is no such specific budgets for the in the case of an individual. Just we randomly assess our income, assess our expenditure, but not going to make any such type of specific budget as like of the government. This is the next basic aspect. And the next one is that the publicity. So you know that related to publicity, every individual, even though incurring on expenditure, gaining income, he may not go for the aspects of publicity. But the government is going to provide the publicity to the budget proposals, and it try to strengthen its physical policies so that in case of government, there is a chance of publicity, but in case of a private individual person, there is no chance of the publicity. So these are the basic dissimilarities or differences between the public finance as well as the private finance. In case of dissimilarities, the source of income, the motive, the objectives, the elasticity, the publicity. In all these areas, in all these reasons, we can going to be trace the differences between the public finance as well as the private finance also. So after learning that, we are able to understand the basic differences. So after that one, another topic is that role of the state. You know that the state is going to be playing an important role in every individual activity. So here, but there was a change, tremendous changes are there in the role of state since ancient periods also. Not only that, the role of the state is also going to be depends upon the state of economy which is existing in that particular state. I think you know that there are three different types of economies are there. One is the capitalist economy. Next one is the socialistic economy. Third one is the mixed economy. So the economic system individually influence the role of the state and its activities in the country. For example, if you seen that USA like countries are there where capitalistic economy is there, their profit motive is one of the important concept and the role of the state is very minimum. Even though at this minimum level also, the state is going to interpret, it is going to correct the malefides and other disadvantageous things which are occurring to the people. But in case of mixed economies like India, there is a huge role is going to be played by the state. Whereas in socialism, now almost all socialist countries are not there in worldwide. Earlier, USSR is there, but they are going to be totally disappearing. The socialist economy always wanted to go for the equality, socialization, and concept of nationalization. So in this way, the role of the state is going to be changed accordingly, depends upon the system of the economy it was adopted. So here one thing is to be understood that you know that basically during classical economist period, classical economists always recommended that the role of the state is to be minimum. It should not interfere. It should not go for the huge expenditure. They followed the policies of the laissez-faire policy. That means government should not intervene. So this is the basic thought of the classical economists, but the such thoughts are going to be changed automatically after the worldwide depression and J.M. Keynes macroeconomics publications also. Then that period, the concept of state and the government and the economy has been changed drastically. So in this way, the system of economy, the role of the state are going to be interrelated, each one also. Not only that, you know that earlier in olden days, ancient periods, religion is going to be play an important role. It is going to not going to support the intervention of the state, like church authorities always opposed the concept of the state in the interference of the religious activities. Like that, during Roman periods, feudalism came into existence. Feudals also not supported the basic ideas of the state also. In this way, there are various differences, various motives, various thoughts, opinions are there related to the role of the state in one country's economy also. But after all, we can see that because of the government, because of the state, where the people are going to get the maximum benefit, that is nothing but a optimum level of economy, that is nothing but a optimum welfare also. So that only generally states or governments are going to take the few responsibilities. Those responsibilities are also drastically changing. The first and foremost important role of the state is to defending the society from the violence, injustice, and wars. The states are going to protect the sovereignty of the people and properties of the people and health and wealth of the people. This is one of the basic important concept. Whatever the economy it may be, whatever the existing type of economy, the state has to compulsorily play this role also. Not only that, the state is always going to render the justice. It is to settle the disputes among the people. It is to act as a mediator, facilitator for the development process of the country also. And it is going to regulate the economic enterprises, that is basically related to the public sector organizations, that is ways and measures, coinage. You know that coinage is nothing but the printing related to the money. So these regulations are going to be regulate the economic money supply also. So in this manner, the government is not only going to involve in the political economical spheres, but also it should protect the culture also. It should provide the education, social insurance, health control to its people also. It should always protect the moral standards of the people. It should always avoid the gambling, alcohol, like these evil social activities in the country also, so that there is a chance of development in the economy. It should promote the unity of the state by controlling the transportation as well as the communications also. Like this, the states are going to provide many roles in a state. It should always provide the facilities like that of the railways, postal, telegraph under itself only. It should always encourage the entrepreneurship, industrialization, and establishment of different industries also. Not only that, you know that basically the labor is one of the basic part of our economy. But at the same time, this labor is also one of the basic exploitative item. That means, as because of not having any kind of bargaining power, the employers, the owners always try to exploit them. So the government has to make the laws and acts. The government has to support these kind of people in all these issues and avoid the labor exploitation also. Not only that, optimum utilization of the natural resources are very important for the development of an economy, so that the government, the state is going to always concentrate in that area also. You know that many countries are now, existing countries now, concentrating on the natural resources like mines, agriculture products, and lands and forests. Not only that, the government has to allocate, especially according to their level of contribution, so that there is a chance for the basic aspect of the development also. And the recently, since 1991 economic reforms, we are seeing that inequalities in the economy are gradually increasing. They are now at the high stage. So the government is always try to avoid such inequalities in the economic activities of the people also. Otherwise, the rich people become richer, poor people become poorer, and that is leads to the fluctuations in the economic system also. So government should always concentrate on the removal or eradication of the inequalities in economic activities also, so that there is always a chance of stable and expanding level of economy, and it become sustainable also. So these all are the basic roles or the basic duties performed by every state. In this manner, whatever the concept of olden state, which is drastically related to the concept of police state, has been now totally changed. So this is all about the basic concept or basic essay related to the part of the role of state. It is one of the important question for your examination also. So after learning this one, now we are going to move forward. That is related to the principle of maximum social advantage. What is this principle? What is this principle of maximum social advantage? Just we discuss and understand about this concept in our today's class. You know that generally governments are going to incur the expenditure for the purpose of the creation of the facilities to the people. At the same time, to cater the needs of the government, it is going to create the income in different forms also. Out of those forms, the most important one is nothing but a tax. Tax is nothing but a compulsory contribution. That means governments are imposing the taxes and collecting the taxes from the people. At the same time, whichever it was collected from the people in the form of expenditure, it is going to incurring for the welfare of the people only. I think you understood. Here two aspects are there. One flow is nothing but the tax. From the tax, the government is able to cover the money from the people. And the same tax is going to be transferred into the society. Whenever such money is going to be transferred into the society, there will be a chance of the improvement of welfare and standard of living. So that only government is whichever collected by the government, that is transferring into the society. So here two concepts are there. One is nothing but the sacrifice. Other is nothing but the benefit. What is sacrifice? What is benefit? Sacrifice is nothing but a payment of tax. That means out of our earned money, we are going to pay the money to the government in the form of a tax. That means we are sacrificing. So that is called as the sacrifice. That is nothing but the social sacrifice. And the next one is that the benefit. As government is transforming that money into society, few people are getting the benefit. So here two concepts are there. One is social sacrifice, one is the social benefit. So according to the principle of maximum social advantage, that is explained by the Professor Dalton, where this marginal social benefit is equal to marginal social satisfaction. At that point, people will get the social advantage that is to be maximized. This is the basic concept. Here you have to understand one or two more words related to the marginal social benefit, marginal social satisfaction. Already you understood that social satisfaction is nothing but the payment of taxes to the government. We are sacrificing. That is the social sacrificing. What is marginal? Marginal is nothing but the additional. When one more unit of tax is going to be imposed by the government, whatever the sacrifice done by you is nothing but calling as the marginal social sacrifice. In microeconomics, you studied about the marginal utility. That is nothing but the additional utility. By gaining one more unit of additional unit, whatever the utility you are gained, that is nothing but calling as the marginal utility. Like that only, marginal sacrifice is nothing but by paying one more additional unit of tax, whatever the result situation is there, that is nothing but calling as the marginal social sacrifice. Like that only, marginal social benefit. Marginal means additional social benefit. That means when one more unit is going to be transferred by the government or incur on the public expenditure, whatever the benefit gained by the people is nothing but additional benefit, or that is nothing but calling as the marginal social benefit. So whenever this marginal social benefit is equals to marginal social sacrifice, then that is nothing but the maximum social advantage. This is the basic concept of the Dalton's principle of maximum social advantage. For example, if you see, you can understand this one through this basic diagram. Here I am going to show you that it is in Telugu medium, but I am going to explain you in English version. So this is the diagram. If you take this one, this is the curve of MSS. Curve of MSS means it is nothing but the marginal social sacrifice. Here OM is nothing but the public expenditure. What you can observe from this diagram, as the expenditure of the government is increasing, the sacrifice of the people is also increasing. Social sacrifice of the people is also increasing. That means the extra additional expenditure done by the government because of the payment of additional tax by the people only. This is the first thing. So after that, this diagram, just you please observe at the topmost one. This is the marginal social benefit. MSB is nothing but the marginal social benefit. That means as the governmental expenditure is increasing, marginal social benefit is decreasing. This is nothing but the law of diminishing marginal utility. Just try to understand here the marginal social benefit curve is in a downward sloping from left to right side. Here the increase in expenditure from OM to OM1, from OM1 to OM2, the benefit acquired by the people has been decreasing continuously. So this is nothing but the basic principle depends upon the law of diminishing marginal utility also. As because many goods are available to the people because of the huge expenditure of the government, there will be the diminishing rate of the benefit. This is nothing but the basic principle of the law of diminishing marginal utility only. So after that one, as I told you, where MSS, that is marginal social satisfaction, is going to be equal to the marginal social benefit, there the people will get the maximum social advantage. For example, you see this third one where at P, marginal social satisfaction is equal to the marginal social benefit. That means with this revenue, with this sacrifice, the people will get the maximum social advantage also. So always Dalton and other economists are going to be advocate this point or this principle to gain the maximum social advantage by the people. But here also you should see various points other than P. This is the P where MSS equals to the MSB. Here if you seen that one, P2. What is P2? At P1, this marginal social benefit is equals to the P1 Q1 and marginal social satisfaction is equals to the P1 S1. That means what? Marginal social sacrifice, that MSS is less than marginal social benefit. That means what? The government has a chance to incur more expenditure, so that until reach to the point of P, the government will incur the taxes and the people and it try to equalize them. This is the basic thing. And if you seen like that only, this is the P2 point. Here P2 marginal social sacrifice is S2P2, whereas marginal social benefit is the P2Q2. Here if you seen that this marginal social satisfaction is more compared to the marginal social benefit. That means as the sacrifice is more, government cannot be able to impose any kind of taxes also. So that automatically it bring down to the left side position, that is nothing but the P. So that where MSS, marginal social sacrifice, is equal to the marginal social benefit. In this manner, by using the concepts of the marginal social sacrifice, marginal social benefits, the Dalton has been explained the basic concept of maximum social advantage. But this maximum social advantage has its own limitations. Maybe theoretically we may see it, but in application practically we are going to face many problems. What are those basic limitations? One by one we will discuss. The first concept is related to that. Here we are taking the two terms, that is the sacrifice, that is the benefit. So you know that these are basically objective terms. We cannot measure. For example, how much sacrifice you have done, one is going to question you. You cannot say quinta 100 kgs like that. That is, measurability is not possible, like in case of benefits also. So it is one of the basic limitation of the Dalton's maximum social advantage principle. Not only that, benefit and sacrifice are always not clear. They are the vague ideas. They are abstract in its nature. So it is not possible to quantify them. So we cannot assess where benefits are going to equal to the sacrifice also. And the next one is that, as we told, sacrifice is one of the basic concept. But that sacrifice is also different from persons to person. That basically depends upon the standard of living. For example, one highly employed person is there, highly earned person is there. He ready to sacrifice more of the things also because of his earning source of income. Whereas one poor person is there, middle economy, private employed person is there, his less income sacrifice also show more on behalf of himself. So standard of living is going to decide the concept of sacrifice. We cannot say that it is equal for all. This is one of the basic limitation. We cannot engage the concept of sacrifice in society equally. That is the basic issue. And related to the benefit also, government is going to incur different public expenditures. So benefits are quietly different from each other. For example, government may be spend its same amount on projects, on constructing bridges, on constructing college buildings. So these are various kinds. Which one give you better or maximum benefit, we cannot assess. So here in case of benefits also, there will be a vague abstract concept is there. So we cannot be able to say that that particular activity or expenditure of the government is so more better, create more benefit to the common people. And the next one is that different periods. Here we are going to incur the expenditure by the government for different periods. So benefits are also related to the different periods. So it is not possible to enumerate all these social benefits by keeping at one place. So this is also one of the basic problem or basic limitations of the Dalton's maximum social advantage theory. And not only that, in its assumptions, Dalton specified that he is going to take the only tax income, that only going to show the basic concept of the sacrifice or major concept of the sacrifice. That means here he is considering only taxes, means what about other non-tax revenues? He has not been given any importance to all those non-tax revenues, even though they are also going to play an important role in the public revenue also. You know that government is going to impose the fines. It is going to collect the fees. It is going to collect the resources from profit-making public sector undertakings. So these are all related to the basic aspects of the revenue only. But Dalton has not been specified them. He only specified the basic concept of the taxes only. So it is one of the basic limitation. Not only that, in his assumption, he also advocated that there is always be the balanced budget. That means budget may not be a deficit one, budget may not be a surplus one. But it is not always possible to every government to create such a budget also. So if this assumption is correct, then only maximum social advantage theorem is going to be correct. So that it is going to put one obstruction or hurdle or limitation in the implementation of the Dalton's maximum social advantage theories also. So these are the basic limitations of maximum social advantage theory. So when you are going to ask this question, you to write the assumptions, explanations. You are going to explain by using these two diagrams and these three basic points on the curves of MSS and MSB. Even though these limitations are there, this maximum social advantage theorem is going to be considered as the most fundamental principle in public economics also. It is considered as at the roof of public finance. That means one of the highest importance given principle also. So this is all about the concept of maximum social advantage by using the concept of marginal social sacrifice and marginal social benefit. So the basically to test these maximum social advantage, Dalton has been provided few tests also. Those are nothing but calling as the Dalton's objective tests of social advantage. That means by considering the tests, we can assess whether the concept of public expenditure of the government is able to create the basic benefits to the people or not. By reviewing them, we can assess the benefits accrued to the people also. How far the government has achieved the economic growth, how far the government achieved the full employment level, how far the government is going to protect the people against the external attacks and internal disorders. So these are basically the forms of the subjective phenomena. By assessing them, we can assess the maximum social advantage principles. So these are generally considered as the tests of Dalton related to the social advantages of the people. So this is all about the basic aspects of the maximum social advantage. So this is all about the today's basic class. In this class, we have basically learned two important questions and topics related to your public finance also. The first one is that the role of the state, and the next one is related to the basic concepts of the maximum principle of maximum social advantage. Just try to understand that because of the fluctuations in the internet, there may be all these issues, chance of breaking of voice. So in our tomorrow's class, we are going to continue other related topics of the public finance, that is related to the public revenue aspects. What are the sources of different public revenue to government? how they are going to be different, how they are classified by different economists in different manner. So this is the next topic in our next class we are going to discuss. So just to try to understand, once read the book, once read the question and answers and try to get them. If you are not able to understand, just provide me the message. I will give you the explanation. I will provide you the replies through messages or again by explaining one more time. So thank you one and all, and good afternoon. Tomorrow we will meet by the same time through the same interface, and we will discuss the another topic, that is the government expenditure and government's debt. Okay, thank you.